This is my favorite segment. This is the one where I talk about the mission and the purpose of the Priceless Legacy Company. In other words, what are we here to do? The mission and purpose of the Priceless Legacy Company. It was Benjamin Franklin who said, "The next thing most like living one's life over again seems to be a recollection of that life, and to make that recollection as durable as possible by putting it down in writing." The mission of the company is to help people preserve and celebrate their life legacies for the benefit of future generations. So how did we come here? This is my story. I know it pretty well. I was born in 1963. I'm 45 today. I have 4 children and a wife. I've done various things in my life. I know all about it. I know pretty much from my age of consciousness on what went on. But what came before me? My mother from the Canadian prairies of Manitoba, my father from Reykjavik, Iceland. How did they come together? Who came before them? I'm proud that on my Icelandic side I can trace back to the 9th century to a certain Viking who ruled the area around modern-day Dublin, Ireland. But how will we pass on this knowledge, in particular the knowledge about my parents and my grandparents and great-grandparents? How will we pass that on? My children won't know anything if I don't take the steps now to preserve what I can. In my case, I have a sense of regret because my father died in 1996, but I've done the right thing with my mother, who is 84 now, and I've created a life story, a Priceless Legacy life story for her, and now my children will have that, and their children will have it forever. So that's what we're about at Priceless Legacy: passion and process. The passion, the empathy, the desire, the hard work to go out there and collect stories in order to serve individuals, families, and communities, and the process to get it done effectively, efficiently, and urgently. The need is pretty clear. Life stories and lessons are important. They must be preserved. And if we don't do it, then who will? We have to get started now. The urgency is clear. Procrastination has caused the loss of so many stories as people look off to another day to get the work done, and they never do, or rarely do. So, how will we do it in a way that works, that's cost-effective, efficient, and effective? We at Priceless Legacy tackle the 3 obstacles to life story preservation. Procrastination, and that's a pretty obvious word, we all know it. And we do that through education and the encouragement from a familiar legacy consultant inside the community where the subject and client lives. It's not some top-down pronouncement from a big remote corporation. It's legacy consultants who live in the communities with the people we seek to serve. Perfectionism is another barrier to getting the life story done. People often will use perfectionism as an excuse for not getting started on their life story. And again, it's a matter of education and encouragement from our legacy consultants to let people know, and a process that emphasizes completion rather than procrastination and perfectionism. And finally, price. We've developed a proprietary method to keep the price of getting a high-quality life story package together to just a little bit over $1,000, to $1,299 based on a 2-hour interview. And that is a huge, huge improvement over the $5,000 and $10,000 price that one can see in print, or $15,000 to $25,000 price one will see in video these days. We do that by following a 5-step creation process. It's somewhat regimented. It's very clear on each step what the legacy consultant must do with the client and with the subject in order to complete the life story. So in summary, every minute 5 Americans die. Chances are that no attempt was made to preserve their life stories, and that is a very sad statistic. Every life has worth and dignity. It's not just the glamorous and the fancy lives that need to be preserved, but every life needs to be preserved because they often have family or at least communities who care very deeply about those experiences. Every story must be preserved. I'm sure many of you have heard the story of the child on the beach throwing starfish at low tide back in the water. And a man walked up and said to the boy, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm trying to save these starfish. If I leave them out here, they'll die in the sun." And he said, "There are thousands and thousands of starfish on the beach. How can you possibly make a difference? And the boy said, I make a difference to each one I throw back. And we're the same way about life stories at Priceless Legacy. We're making a difference one story at a time. And I promise you that if you become involved, either as a client, a subject, or a legacy consultant, you will learn to relish and cherish the ability to make a difference. Thank you.